Hello, Shiva here, and welcome to DivineLoveAstrology.com videos. Here's the book. Check it out. How are we creative? We are inextricably a part of life, now and forever. And as we express ourselves, life responds. We attract to ourselves situations and people that complement what we are inside. We think we create our futures by planning and working towards this or that accomplishment. But we are creating our futures right now in the present by where we are in our consciousness, and life responds. We think that happiness will be attained in the achieving of this or that objective, yet find that the happiness we seek in this way is elusive and fleeting. No matter what we are trying to do in life, our lives will be a reflection of what is going on inside of us. The zodiac, as a whole, represents the totality of consciousness, and each individual sign represents one of the facets that make up the totality of consciousness. Therefore, the zodiac, which comprises all the 12 signs, represents the whole, and each sign represents one of the components that constitutes wholeness. The balance lies in the center. Okay? Consciousness is made up of facets and levels. The signs represent the facets of consciousness, and the planets represent the levels of consciousness. The birth chart shows how, at different levels of our consciousness, represented by the planets, our tendency is to, at that level, gravitate out into one of the facets or areas of consciousness, represented by the signs, to form an expression. Some features of our personality becoming dominant and more sensitive, and some recessive and less sensitive. Everyone is a unique combination of these characteristics within that motivate us. When we are polarized in any one of these facets of consciousness, we tend to focus on that area, and a desire to satisfy that one component overrides the awareness of the overall wholeness we really seek. As this polarization rules our consciousness, we rationalize some accomplishment, conquest, or sensual need to be what we need to satisfy us, thereby seeking and drawing to us complementarily polarized people and situations from life. We obsess on one or more objectives in life to the exclusion of others. We become entangled in what these habitual patterns draw to us in relationships and situations. We look outside of ourselves to find our satisfaction, usually with little success in finding the lasting happiness we truly seek. Because spiritually, what motivates us from within is simply a need to feel whole. So how do we really find satisfaction, or rather, fulfillment? This cuts to the very question of what it means to be human. From a material point of view, we are driven to survive, to acquire the things we need, to satisfy the desires that impel us, to reproduce and care for our families. And this is human. But from a spiritual point of view, we are here to evolve ourselves spiritually. And, as all great spiritual teachers have taught, we do this by endeavoring to find inner balance and peace of mind. The material world has many requirements that we cannot ignore. And we can rationalize what we have to do to acquire our needs or take care of our families. But spiritually, we must not only consider what we need, but also how we go about getting it. The goal of a spiritual existence is to bring our spiritual ideals into our daily lives. We are spiritual beings in physical forms, not the other way around. This 100 years or so that we are here on earth may seem like a long time, but compared to the eternity of the soul, it is less than an instant. Finding meaning, peace of mind, and even worldly success that actually brings us lasting happiness depends on our getting our priorities right. When we understand that the real goal in life is not acquiring wealth, power, or other kinds of material success, but rather is finding balance and peace of mind, we enter on to the spiritual path. When we learn to work within our own consciousness to find inner balance and the feeling of wholeness we seek, our center, we find that we don't have to do anything else and watch as the entire world transforms around us, as everything starts responding to us differently, accordingly. When we are centered within, we feel whole, abundant, and strong, and instinctually realize that it is in the giving that we receive. A spiritual reading of your birth chart will help you to work on finding inner balance and wholeness, which then extends out to attract like relationships and situations from life. This is what I have learned from astrology and what I look for in a birth chart. If positive change is to come about in this world, it will not come about through wars, forced political agendas, or even technological breakthroughs. It will come through a shift in the general consciousness. And this can only come about when each of us as individuals work within our own consciousness to make that shift happen.